The early years of Ted Bundy, Theodore Robert Bundy, to the world, a monster. But like all monsters, he started as a human being. Born in Vermont in 1946, Bundy's early life was shrouded in a secrecy that foreshadowed the darkness to come. Raised by his grandparents, he grew up believing his mother was his sister. This early deception, some argue, warped his sense of reality. Outwardly, Bundy seemed normal. He was described as charming and likable. He excelled in school, showing no outward signs of the depravity that lurked beneath. But even then, there were whispers. Stories of a strange, solitary boy who seemed detached from the world. A darkness he kept well hidden. Some experts point to possible cruelty to animals as a child, a chilling harbinger of the violence to come. Others cite his family's history of mental illness, a predisposition to the darkness that would consume him. Whatever the cause, the seeds of evil were sown early in Ted Bundy's life. The boy who seemed so ordinary was already on a path to becoming a monster. The 1970s, an era of disco, bell-bottoms, and a growing unease. It was during this time that Ted Bundy, now a handsome and charismatic young man, began his reign of terror. The Pacific Northwest became his hunting ground, its once peaceful streets now stalked by a predator. Young women, mostly attractive college students, started disappearing with alarming regularity. They vanished from parks, campuses, and even their own homes, leaving behind only a chilling void. The authorities were baffled. There were few clues and the disappearances seemed unconnected. But there was a pattern, one that would become horrifyingly clear. Bundy often preyed on women who resembled his first love, a dark-haired beauty who had broken his heart. He would lure them with his charm, often feigning injury or impersonating authority figures. The fear was palpable. A sense of dread settled over the region as the body count rose. Who was this monster preying on their daughters, sisters, and friends? The answer, as the world would soon discover, was far more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. Ted Bundy was a master manipulator. He understood the vulnerabilities of his victims and exploited them with chilling precision. He crafted a persona so believable, so disarming that few suspected the evil lurking beneath. He often used props to appear helpless, a fake cast, a sling, or even crutches. He would approach women, often asking for help with his car or boat. His voice, soft and soothing, could disarm even the most wary. He exuded confidence and charm, making him appear trustworthy, even heroic. Bundy understood the power of appearance. He dressed neatly, often sporting a cast or sling to appear non-threatening. He drove a Volkswagen Beetle, a car associated with youth and innocence. This carefully constructed facade allowed him to approach potential victims without raising suspicion. He would often change his appearance, altering his hairstyle or growing a beard. This made it difficult for witnesses to provide accurate descriptions, further delaying his capture. Bundy's ability to blend in, to appear completely unremarkable, was one of his most terrifying traits. Beyond the charm, Ted Bundy possessed a chilling intelligence. He was a law student, familiar with police procedures. This knowledge made him a formidable adversary. His meticulous planning was evident, but it was his daring escapes that cemented his notoriety. Twice he managed to escape from custody. His escapes showcased a mind obsessed with evasion. Section 5. Terror in Tallahassee, the Chi Omega sorority house attack, January 15, 1978, a date etched in infamy. On this night, Ted Bundy unleashed a wave of terror on the unsuspecting students of Florida State University. The Chi Omega sorority house became the stage for a horrifying display of violence, forever shattering the illusion of safety on college campuses. Under the cover of darkness, Bundy entered the sorority house, armed with a club fashioned from firewood. He moved from room to room, brutally attacking 4 young women, 2 of whom tragically lost their lives. The savagery of the attack sent shockwaves across the nation. The Chi Omega attack was a turning point. Bundy, once a phantom, now had a face. Witnesses survived to tell the tale, providing crucial descriptions to the authorities. The net was closing in, but Bundy, ever the cunning predator, was already planning his next move. Section 6, Facing Justice, Bundy's Trial, and the Mask begins to slip. After a cross-country manhunt, Ted Bundy was finally apprehended in Florida. His capture marked the beginning of a legal saga that would captivate the nation. The trial, held in Miami in 1979, became a media sensation, with Bundy relishing the spotlight. Acting as his own attorney, Bundy used the courtroom as a stage. He cross-examined witnesses, delivered eloquent speeches, and even charmed the courtroom staff. But as the trial progressed, the mask began to slip. The charming facade crumbled, revealing glimpses of the monster beneath. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Eyewitness accounts, physical evidence, and even bite marks linked him to the crimes. Yet Bundy remained defiant, proclaiming his innocence even as the walls closed in. His arrogance and lack of remorse only solidified his image as a heartless predator. The jury ultimately found Ted Bundy guilty on multiple counts of murder, kidnapping, and assault. He was sentenced to death. A sentence met with relief and a sense of justice served. But for the families of the victims, the pain was far from over. Section 7. Death Row Confessions. A glimmer of remorse or a final manipulation. As Bundy sat on death row, facing his impending execution, something shifted. He began to grant interviews, confessing to crimes that had long baffled investigators. He described his modus operandi in chilling detail. Some saw these confessions as a sign of remorse. Others viewed them as a final act of manipulation. Bundy seemed to revel in the attention. He spoke of the pleasure he derived from killing. He talked about keeping souvenirs from his victims. These confessions provided closure to some. Was he truly remorseful, or was this just another performance? The answer remains elusive. He took his secrets to the grave. As the day of his execution approached, the media frenzy surrounding Ted Bundy reached fever pitch. Reporters camped outside the prison, eager to report on every detail of the condemned man's final hours. Bundy, however, remained surprisingly calm, even granting a final interview just hours before his death. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was strapped into the electric chair, nicknamed Old Sparky, at Florida State Prison. Witnesses described him as subdued, his defiance finally broken. As the executioner threw the switch, a surge of electricity coursed through his body, ending his reign of terror once and for all. Outside the prison, crowds cheered as news of Bundy's death spread. For many it was a moment of catharsis, a sense that justice had finally been served. But for the families of Bundy's victims, the execution brought little solace. Their pain would endure long after the name Ted Bundy faded from the headlines. In the aftermath of his execution, psychologists and criminologists have grappled with the question that has haunted us since his capture. What made Ted Bundy a monster? Was it a traumatic childhood, a brain abnormality, or was he simply born evil? Some experts point to his troubled childhood, the illegitimacy, and the deception surrounding his parentage as contributing factors to his psychological development. Others cite his inability to form genuine emotional attachments, a hallmark of antisocial personality disorder. Bundy's own words offer chilling insights into his psyche. He described a force within him, an entity he couldn't control, that drove him to kill. He spoke of deriving pleasure from inflicting pain, of feeling a sense of power and control over his victims. Despite decades of study, there are no easy answers. Ted Bundy's evil remains a chilling enigma, a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most seemingly normal individuals. Ted Bundy's reign of terror left an indelible mark on the lives of countless individuals. The families of his victims continue to grapple with the loss of their loved ones, haunted by the brutal manner of their deaths. The survivors of his attacks bear the physical and emotional scars of their encounters with the monster. For many, the fear never truly goes away. They live with the constant reminder that evil can lurk in the shadows, that appearances can be deceiving. The trauma of Bundy's crimes extends beyond the immediate victims, leaving a lasting impact on society's perception of safety and trust. The legacy of Ted Bundy serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the randomness of violence, and the importance of vigilance. It compels us to confront the darkness that exists in the world and to honor the memory of those whose lives were tragically cut short. The story of Ted Bundy is not just a tale of a monster but a cautionary one. It reminds us that evil can wear many faces, that charm and charisma can mask a depraved heart. Bundy's ability to blend in, to appear normal, is perhaps his most chilling legacy. His crimes shattered the illusion of safety, reminding us that no one is immune to the darkness that exists in the world. Bundy's story serves as a stark warning against complacency, urging us to be vigilant, to trust our instincts, and to never take our safety for granted. We must remember Ted Bundy, not to glorify his crimes but to learn from them. We must remain vigilant, protect the vulnerable, and never allow ourselves to become desensitized to the horrors of which humanity is capable. Only then can we hope to prevent such atrocities from happening again.